Hey, very good morning and good evening, everyone. Welcome back. So welcome to the first session. All right. So if you have been in the yesterday's demo session, so we were trying to understand where this particular DevOps is coming from and what are the tools that we are going to learn in this particular training is what we have discussed in yesterday's session, right? So let's continue that, and we are going to start with our training with our roadmap. The roadmap is already given in the syllabus, right? So what is our roadmap? I mean, how we categorize that particular roadmap.sh, whatever is being provided by these guys. So here is the roadmap that we are actually getting the content from. And this particular roadmap again is being sorted out and are organized in our own approach. So here is the one. Right, so this is our roadmap, by the way. Out of this, if you see this, we wanted to start with something called as a Linux operating system. Why we want to do the Linux operating system? So let's try to understand that particular point in the first half of today's session, by the way. Okay, so let's get started. Now, if you remember, yesterday I was talking about certain roles and responsibilities. So roles and responsibilities of a DevOps engineer. Okay, we'd be starting from there because unless until it is falling under my role, there is no point in learning, right? So let's start from there, by the way. If you remember, I was mentioning 4 points as a part of roles and responsibilities yesterday. So the first one is, so dealing with the infrastructure with the IAC, by the way. Okay, so that means create infrastructure for our application to run. And the second point, if you remember, by the way, we were talking about CI/CD. So that means release application in a smooth manner and without any downtimes. So these are the two roles and responsibilities majorly. Okay, there are a couple we added, but at least to start with, to create an infrastructure for application to run. So that means we were talking about a web-based application. So go back to again, one more step behind, by the way. So we were talking about majorly the business. Okay. So the business is SDLC I was talking. Okay. SDLC business I was talking. And after that, I was telling it's majorly under web-based applications. So majorly under web-based application. So this is the business. And in order to run a web-based application, so that means I'm accessing this Miro.com. This is a web-based application. So that means this is hosted somewhere on one of the server for me to access it, correct? So the same thing, so your company's business, by the way, so we are going to host and run the web-based applications, and you need to provision the infrastructure. So to get our application to run, by the way. Right? And also, once that application is running, our developers are going to continuously develop it, by the way. So they're continuously developing it, and the changes and the features, okay, will come into picture. Okay. So the changes as features and bugs, bug fixes, security fixes, features. Okay. So few things the developers are going to continuously run or work on. And those particular changes I had to bring it to the things. So now if you try to understand, both the things are pointing to a server only, right? So I mean, I wanted to host my application. Okay, so here it is pointing to a server. This point also pointing to a server, assuming this is a server. Okay, so in a server, I am going to deploy my application. I'll be running my application inside this. Okay, and the next one is we are going to take care of running the application smoothly without any issues. We are going to release the application, by the way, right? So both the things, it's anyhow, both the things are running on the server only. So it is server. So we're talking about server here. And that is where we are going to talk about. So we're going to talk about a server. All right. So our roles and responsibilities is directly pointing us to take a look onto the server. And when you look at the servers, by the way, we know desktops. Okay. So our desktops is basically is Windows. Typically, most of the desktops is Windows. Okay. There is no doubt in that, right? So I was trying to show in the demo also for that's okay. But let me show you usage of operating systems. Okay, usage of operating systems. So there's a Wikipedia page for this actually. Usage share of operating system. Okay. So the Wikipedia collects, I mean, have some data by the way. So let's read the data. So now, as of 2015, okay, which is a very old data by the way. And in 2015, if we have seen this Android devices is much more, and no doubt today it is significantly increased. Okay, maybe Windows is reduced, but Android has significantly increased in the mobile devices, by the way, right? No one deny that, correct? And the same way, so here they talk about desktops also. And so here is something like, where the web clients is widely used. Again, Android is a place where the web clients are used, highly used. And here they're talking about desktop and laptop computers. So they're telling, I think this data may be a bit old also, like it's giving the 2020 data, but still Windows is leading. We're still okay with that, right? So everyone knows that Windows is widely used on the desktop side. Now at the same time, so now when you come to the server side, okay, so you will be looking at big computers. When you look at the big machines, by the way, so it is mostly going to be, earlier it is going to be Unix machines, and after that it is going to be Linux machines. Windows percentage will be there, but it is very less, very, very less when you compare with the servers, by the way. Okay, so that's where and also, by the way, so this diagram is, I mean, this graph is mostly for a supercomputers. Okay. However, if you take it on the servers also, it is actually significant high when you compare with the Windows. Okay. So that is where, okay, we are going to understand these servers. Okay, runs an operating system, by the way. The servers will have an OS inside them, which is running, and that operating system is majorly, okay, not Windows. You need to understand. So those mostly runs with Linux, by the way. Okay. So here is the place that where the Linux coming into picture. Okay. You're going to learn Linux. It's okay to say Linux is an operating system, but however, strictly talking, Linux is not a operating system. Okay, so Linux is a core OS, or core, by the way, which is going to taken by a couple of vendors. Okay, so especially like vendors like Red Hat. Again, if you go into the roadmap data set in the operating system section, so they were having different vendors here. If you see, BSD is anyhow Unix box, and here Linux if you take in, so Ubuntu is there, Suzy is there, RHL is there. So these guys, these vendors is actually what they're doing is they're going to take, the Red Hat is one guy. Okay. So Suzy is there and Debian is there. Okay. So this is where, okay, different Linuxes comes into picture. And not only these three, by the way, there are many. I mean, at least if you look at the very high level, these three will come. But again, let's go to the again Wikipedia. Linux distribution list. If again I type it, so again there is a Wikipedia page will come, and a diagram will come here, and the diagram is a huge one. Okay, if you see this, each and every line you're seeing out there is representing an operating system. Okay, so if I click on that, so you will find out a Slackware is the one. So which is Suzy is not also coming under Slackware. So there's also another distribution called as Slackware. And after that, you have another distribution, okay, a type of operating system which is Debian, by the way. Okay, and finally you also find out another guy which is called as Red Hat. Okay, so these are the three major verticals which is started, and again these guys will have a different operating system. So Red Hat launched, okay, will release an operating system in some timeline, and they introduced a Red Hat Enterprise Linux, by the way. And there are certain vendors who copies this one. So for an example, Oracle is there, Oracle Linux is there. So they copied, they will copy Red Hat Linux, and there are downstream to Red Hat. They are downstream to Red Hat. So that means after Red Hat releases, so Oracle copies and that complete code and release it as a Oracle Enterprise, by the way. Okay, so the same way your CentOS also will come. If you heard about something called as CentOS, CentOS also comes somewhere from here. So CentOS, yeah. So CentOS also is a downstream to, okay, Red Hat here. Like this, so different operating systems is there, but a very high level, if you look in, you're going to see here the three major vendors you would see, which is Red Hat, Suzy, and Debian. Out of this, okay, our roadmap.sh guy is telling you go with Ubuntu or Debian or Ubuntu or RHEL. Okay, so we are picking up the Red Hat. Okay, so why Red Hat is basically is pretty simple, by the way. So it's widely used in the enterprise organizations. It's not me telling. Let's find the data, by the way. Okay, let's find out somewhere from some GPT, by the way. Let's try to understand. Let's ask this guy only. So this guys provide the at least the information available for us narrowed down, by the way, right? So let's ask, like, so in enterprise companies, which OS is widely used? Give me a simple answer. Otherwise, this guy write a very big one. Okay, so in companies, Windows Server is widely used as compility. This is very bad. So Linux is very less used. That's why this GPT is no, Linux is widely used. Okay, fine. So which flavor of okay, let's ask this again. Okay, so this guy putting a question mark to us. Now Linux versus Windows, which is widely used? This is very bad. Okay, so this is very contrast to the statements what we are talking. Okay, so that's why we can't trust this guy. This guy always assumes the things. That's a problem, right? So this is a artificial intelligence, never the real intelligence. Now, let's search in. Okay, so which Linux is widely used? in enterprise. Actually, this number is very difficult for us everyone to understand as well, or these numbers usually will not find it out. Why? Because I mean, someone has to write it by the way, but however, uh, the server data, no one exposes that information to the, no one shares that data usually to the outside world. Okay, so that's where is the major reason we had to go with an assumption, or people with an experience has to say that. All right. So like someone writing some article there. So when you talk about enterprise Linux, so it's basically a Red Hat enterprise Linux anyhow. Anyhow, that is the okay widely used one. So now I have to pick it up with my experience only. All right. Any flavor of Red Hat is fine. So it's not only need to be Red Hat. Any flavor of Red Hat is a Red Hat only. Like all these line, by the way, go downstream. Now any operating system, down to this Red Hat Linux is Red Hat Linux. So they're copy of Red Hat. Okay. So since Red Hat is a part of open source, their code is completely open. People can take it and customize it and even does the business. For an example, CentOS does not do the business, whereas Oracle Linux does the business, by the way. That means like they sell the enterprise Linux. All right. So that's how it's fine, by the way. Like there is nothing lost to the Red Hat, by the way. The more users it is being used, okay. I think uh, like it gets the okay. Why Red Hat is also okay to give it as a free is there is a inside. I mean there is a turn back business as well, right? So that means like a lot of people are actually using their product and so uh, anyhow these guys actually okay made the OS by the way, and these guys I mean whoever purchased the Red Hat, so they will have the um, they will have the okay support portal, like so solving the issues. The more people is used and reporting the issues, by the way, they can find those, but they can take those issues and solve the customers much better. Like they will support the paid customers much better. Okay, because for an example, CentOS is the biggest community. Now a lot of people actually use a CentOS and submit back the issues to CentOS community saying that these are the issues they have, and Red Hat source those issues and fix them upfront before the any other customers even facing, right? So that's how it's a intern, okay, um, intern business that is generated for Red Hat, by the way. So to solve the customers better. So that's why Red Hat is a quite good in that support area, especially. Okay. And even though if you look in, like a lot of people has a confusion, like everything is given open, now how can they survive? They can still survive, right? So it's not about just the code, by the way. So if the code is available, no one can, I mean, just manage that level of code. It's all about engineers, by the way, right? So that's where when IBM acquired Red Hat, it was still the biggest deal in the IT industry. Okay. So when we say IT industry, especially the software IT, not the gaming section, removing the games area, because games has their own numbers. So talk about pure IT industry. So Red Hat is the biggest business deal happened so far with $34 billion. IBM acquired Red Hat for $34 billion, and each and every piece of Red Hat is completely open, right? Their code is completely open. Yet IBM bought it for $34 billion. So open source was also is not something okay that we need to scare off. Like on a long term, a business will be generated. So that's a proven thing anyhow. So stepping back, so whatever it is, we will be going with um, Red Hat to learn here. Okay, so here is what we are going to learn. Our choice is Red Hat. We'll learn Red Hat. Okay. So now in the Red Hat, by the way, so let's go and try to find out Red Hat versions. What are the versions of Red Hat which is available right now? So here, Red Hat versions. If you see the Red Hat versions, so these are the Red Hat versions which are available. Okay, and which are currently serving is basically is if you see the Red Hat Enterprise Linux 9, so you can see this the support general availability date. with end of life. So Red Hat Enterprise Linux with end of life dates, by the way, if you go in. Hmm. So if you look at the Red Hat 8 and Red Hat 9 only, they are showing in the documentation, because other versions they are not showing because it's already end of life. Okay. Only two versions are running at this point of time, Red Hat 8 and Red Hat 9. So Red Hat 8 is basically going to end in sometime in 2029, whereas Red Hat 9 is actually going to continue till 2032. But whatever it is, Red Hat 9 is the latest version. I think 10 beta is also came out, if I'm not wrong. Uh, so that's where, okay, Red Hat 9 is the current version. So we'll be going with the latest version of operating system, so which is 9. And it does not too much worry, I mean, it does not too much matter to us which version we use. Okay. So for us, mostly same only. HCL 9 is what we are going to use. We're going to learn and we're going to use. Right. So this is something we are going to use. Right. I'll take a quick pause, and any questions, please raise your hand, and let's do one thing. If you have any relative question to the topic, please ask. If you have any other questions, I know some people might have just joined today and they might have some other questions, by the way. So please park your question to the end of the session. I'll take them at the end of the session. Okay. If any question related to this roles and responsibilities starting and ending it till RHL 9, please go ahead.
Yeah, hi, Raghu. Good morning.
Yeah.
So here the question is like how we differentiate between the Red Hat and Debian. So there might be some companies which are using Debian based Linux, right? So what is the main difference and how we can differentiate it?
I mean, how can you differentiate in the sense?
See, we are using Linux in particular operating as an operating system, but how we can say that it is a Red Hat one, and how we can say that it is a Debian one, and what are the main differences which occur? Like in Red Hat, in RHEL, there may be like the command line may be different, and in Debian, there will be command line will be different, or both will be the same.
So let me put a cross question to help you in understanding the answer that you asked, by the way. So for an example, there is a Chrome browser and there is a Mozilla Firefox browser, right?
Yeah.
So now if I ask you what is the difference, by the way, so what do you say? I mean, how do you look at that?
Both do the same thing, but the UI will be different, right? The certain things will be different. The opening of pages and the options and all.
Yeah, but the difference matters to you anything
Okay, no.
while your job is done, right? So the difference does not matter. And yeah, so the same thing. So here there are different Linux vendors, and okay, so we are picking Red Hat because Red Hat has the enterprise market, major market. And why Red Hat actually? Okay, your question can be asked in different way. If I were you, let's say I'll put the question like this: like while Debian is also famous, by the way, so then why Red Hat? Okay, I haven't mentioned that. Like I just mentioned that enterprise companies uses this, but why enterprise companies uses Red Hat? Why not Debian? Okay, so there is, I mean, a while there is a huge tough war between Red Hat and Debian in terms of into getting into the market. So Debian has I mean, Debian has a challenge to be faced from GNU Linux. By the way, this Linux is called as GNU Linux. Okay, let's some other history around here. Just I'll take 2 minutes and tell you. So there is another history around this. So this is a GNU Linux. There is other Linux as well, but this is GNU Linux. So who is this GNU Linux is? So the community of GNU and Linus Torvalds formed together. So the GNU and Another guy is Linus Torvalds, who is the father of Linux. Okay, so these two guys actually formed a Linux, which is called as GNU Linux, all these three vendors. There are other Linux as well. Now this GNU, by the way, so the GNU founder is the GNU founder is hey, come on. GNU founder is Richard Stallman. Okay. Now Richard Stallman and Linus Torvalds together form this particular. Okay, so this is a GNU guy, and Richard Stallman and Linus Torvalds is the combination is called as GNU Linux. Okay. Now, this Richard Stallman, whoever is actually the father of the breaking open source edition, like he's almost the father of open source. He was the first person to form a community and believed the software has to be free. Okay, so and this guy actually accused Richard Stallman. Okay, Richard Stallman using Ubuntu or Debian, by the way. Ubuntu spyware only. So in sometime in early 2000s, by the early 2000, almost like Red Hat, almost like Linux became stable in sometime in 2006 2007 phase. Okay, so 2006 and 2007, some year is a very crucial for Linux. Until then, it was people were just laughing at Linux. Okay, but after that only it has become successful. And Richard Stallman calls Ubuntu as a spyware. Okay, so he found something so that this operating system is collecting some sort of a personal information, by the way. And a lot of people actually, after his statement, has moved towards enterprise has shifted towards Red Hat. Whoever has liked even Ubuntu, by the way. So and Debian is mostly went onto the desktop level operating system or development operating systems, but not the production grade operating system. So now, if you ask me what is the difference, absolutely, those are just operating systems. You'll not find much difference, and everywhere and every operating system has its own way to manage it. So if you are dealing with Red Hat, you will manage with the Red Hat commands. If it is a Debian, you will manage that with Debian commands. So difference wise, the board does the same job. Why Red Hat is enterprise likes Red Hat. So enterprise is the goal, by the way. So because big companies, yeah.
So, like, will there be a major difference in the commands, or
Doesn't matter.
will be?
Doesn't matter. There is a difference, of course, right? So the same go to the Chrome and so I mean it's a vendor difference will be there, right? Job is same, commands are different. But it's not a worry to us at all, right?
Okay.
Yeah. For an example, you drive one country, by the way, your driving seat will be on the right side. You go to another country, driving seat on the left side. But how does it matter to you? Nothing, right? The job is getting, I mean, your driving still remains same, isn't it?
Yeah, got it. So basically, we need to like suppose if I'm running Red Hat here, and while in the job I'm using like Debian, so we need to have the both knowledge as well, right? So that is similar you are saying.
It will be similar only, ideally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But of course, you need to know about it, right? It's as similar as that. Okay, but you need to know about the rules and regulations as well of how to use it, like driving I'm talking about, right?
Yes.
Right. So things will change, but that's okay. Context is always same, right? What you want to achieve. Yeah.
Yeah, got it.
Not able to hear you, funny. Moving on.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, good morning, Raghu.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, actually, in present situation, which that they are using like RHL 8 or 9 in current IT industry.
Both will be there. You can't say which one. But Red Hat 8 someday it is getting to get off end of life. people has to migrate to the latest versions. One day everyone will come to Red Hat 9. By the time Red Hat 10 also will come. So the migration is a process in the companies.
Yeah. So the commands will be same, or else is there will be any changes in the configuration?
Same vendor. So ideally it is going to be same, and always some plus plus will come into picture. New commands, new features. I mean, what is software version to version will come. Features and things like that, right? So it is
So it's better to be upgraded to the RHL 9 from RHL 8 to 9, right?
I mean, it's
Hello?
like why this question? Your Android
I'm
mobile
just
won't
asking.
get. Hold on. As an Android mobile, you won't get OS upgrades by the way.
Mm, I'm just asking. Yeah, yes.
Will you get OS upgrades or not?
Yes, yes, yes. Sir.
So this is also an operating system. Why the confusion? As simple as that, right?
Okay.
Just upgrade for, I mean, upgrading, what do you get by the way? So new features will introduce in the upgrade in your Android, let's say, and
Mm,
also some security fixes, they'll try to fix it, right?
yes, yes,
The same thing.
yes.
So, I mean, one day they will say that, so this Android version is not supported anymore, right?
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
All right. So the next is RHL 9. And here I need this particular RHL 9 operating system somewhere to start practicing, by the way. Correct? And that's where, okay, we are going with Azure, and we're going to go with an Azure cloud here. Okay. So I want every one of you to be signing up to Azure cloud by tomorrow at least, okay, or after this particular session. And the details I actually has mentioned in a video over here. So yeah, this is the video. So now here, I will keep this particular one to the chat to the everyone. Do it after the session only. Don't do it right now. If you already have an Azure account, please use that. And yeah, if you don't have, please do sign up as shown in there. So I'll be going with creating a Linux box in Azure right now, and I'll be accessing that particular Linux box. So how do we do that? Let's see. All right. So for this, Azure login page is here, Azure login page, portal.azure.com. So I'll just log in. I have given my email address. My account has been logged. I know why it is logged, by the way. So I just used my same details which I hold on another account. So that is the reason it should be logged. All right. So I can go to my actual account, by the way. So I can create a virtual machine. So just give me portal.azure. Once again. Hey, what I ask is sign in with a different email. So here is an here is an Azure portal. You may be seeing a lot of things which have been, I mean, in my account, by the way, but in your account. So this reason is going to be just clean, you will see. Okay. And out of this, when you actually follow the video, you're going to have a subscription, by the way. So subscription is something that we're going to choose for billing, by the way. So for our requirement, and you'll be choosing the subscription also. And inside the subscription, so what you need to do until subscription, it is available in the video. You can go through that video after the session. So it will be, you'll be able to create your subscription. And from here, what we are going to do is we wanted to create resources in we wanted to create resources in Azure. We wanted to, okay, so Azure comes up with a structure. So subscription, I would consider as, one building section. Inside that one building section, we would be going with multiple, we will be going with the multiple, um, groups of resources. Like your resources can be grouped, by the way. So that's where the resource groups will come into picture in Azure. I have a couple of resource groups, by the way, and I'll be going with creating another resource group. Okay, I may be having multiple subscriptions. In your case, you're going to have only one subscription. So create, and then mine is iteration 1, and I will just call this as DevOps 82. Maybe I'll call 1 or something like that. I'll just keep all small. Okay, and choose East US only. Okay, so there is a reason for that, because some of the lab that I'm going to offer, the Red Hat machine, okay, which I'm going to offer the Red Hat OS, that will be offered from my side, by the way. So that is available only in East US. So please go ahead and use that East US only. Don't go for other region. All right, so my resource group is ready. Under here, I'm going to create the resources. Okay. So I'm wanted to create a server, and the server is available as a section of virtual machines. Okay. So click on virtual machine. All right. So create just here also you have a create, or else on the top you have a create virtual machine. Go for that. So your subscription will come, and the resource group which you want to create it, and whatever the virtual machine name you want to give. So I'm giving some test, by the way. And the region is East US. Okay. And to change anything, no zone, nothing. And here it is coming like a Rocky Linux. Rocky Linux is also a copy of Red Hat, by the way. But however, I would suggest you to use my image here, because it comes with the a loaded thing of loaded thing of your lab to start, or for you to start the work much faster, by the way. Okay, there are a couple of utilities we are going to install on this particular machine, predefined or pre-installed, which will help you. What are those utilities? You'll see it later, but at least I would suggest you to go with see all images. Click on see all images, and you go to the community images on the left side. Okay, and you search for DevOps hyphen practice image. When you search for DevOps practice image, so there is a RHL9 DevOps practice image will come. So choose that. So that is coming into picture. And to choose anything. So here you're getting 1 CPU, 4 GB. The bare minimum, one only is coming. It is charging us 5830 rupees per month. If I continuously run, this is the charges, by the way, and even including some other things, it's giving this much price. Okay, but we'll not run continuously. We will go for um, we'll go for stopping and deleting the instances once the job is done. All right. So that's where this is the one. And the next option I would choose is a password. Okay. So you enter your username and password to authenticate to the server. So you can also use key, but why we should not use keys and all, I'll talk about that bit later. But just for time being, okay, go with the password. And I'm going to use, like, let's say aged user or my name only, who is stopping me. So let's say my username. and the password is so it is asking you should give 12 character password. Okay, so I'm giving DevOps 1 2 3 4 5 6. DevOps 1 2 3 4 5 6. I have given this password. Okay, and you can give any of your password, nothing matter. Okay, so then you just allow something. You don't need to bother about anything more. So licensing type, just you can say other, and just click on review and create. Actually, review and create will create it. Let's see. Okay, it's creating. So let's go with the create. So within a minute, your machine is ready, and we should be able to connect to that particular machine. And just observe this, by the way. So these are all the things you're supposed to delete after well, let's say when I'm done with my job, I'm terminating the things. I should terminate every of these particular things. So because there are things which are chargeable here. So the public IP address is a chargeable. Now you go and terminate a virtual machine, it won't terminate the public IP address, and still you get charges. You have to be extra careful around Azure when you actually go with. Okay. So, but other clouds, it's a different scenario. Only with Azure, this is a problem. So we'll think that, we delete we will delete we have deleted the instances, but behind the scene, so there are other resources which are chargeable, which is still get charged, by the way. And of course, for the first time when you are creating an account, so you get the Azure free account, right? So Azure, so free. And what they're actually offering as a free, by the way, right? So they're saying you will get a something for 30 days, right? So what is that, you're going to get it. Three limits let us search for. Let's say. So when you look at the limits, by the way, so here is what you are getting certain free things. What shall let's go to the link. So here is the Azure Virtual Machines Linux they will offer, and in the okay. So virtual machines Linux. So what they're offering is they're offering 750 hours of B1 and B2 PTS ARM based instances or B2 ATS AMD based instances, by the way. Okay, for 12 months they are going to offer, so 750 hours. Okay, so this is 12 months, free period is 12 months, free monthly amount. Okay, so 750 hours of one instance they'll provide. So they're not offering, okay, so much more than that. So that's where, like I was mentioning, so someone was asking about free account and all. The free account, what we think is not free, by the way. So there always comes with the limits. You can run 750 hours is nothing but 31 days. You can run only one machine, okay, for that particular hours. Also, I think the number of machines is also is a challenge. It will come into picture. Even though, let's say 750 hours, 10 machines I can run for 75 hours, right? So that also will not come into picture, I think, in Azure. So it's a challenge. So mostly you create a subscription, by the way. So end of the day, we might be, so they'll just deduct this free things if it is coming in free. And end of the month, you'll get the bill and you have to pay the bill. But so to continue. So going back to the virtual machine. So here virtual machine is done. Again, I'll go back to the home virtual machine and I have a test virtual machine and they're providing one IP address and I'll be using this IP address to connect to that particular machine. Now, if you're a Windows guy, okay, so you will be using a software, a different softwares are there. So at least to start with, you can start this software putty. Okay, you can go to the download putty. Okay, you can click on download putty. So there is a just a one exe file will come into picture. So you can go with that directly. So this is the one. This is also I'll update here. So it doesn't matter only putty. If you know already another utility, been already using any other utility, please go ahead and use that. So no one is stopping us. Okay, just a client by the way. Okay, so please use that as well. So in the once you log into the putty or you download the putty and you open putty, okay, it will come like this. It will just open a window. It will just open a window like this. It's a very small one. Yeah, it'll just open a window like this. Now, what you need to do is, so the server will have an address, and that is called as an IP address. Okay, every machine, in order to communicate to another machine, there should be an address. Okay, so that's where okay, one address is being provided by Azure to us. So you take this IP address and open putty, and you enter the address here. That's it, and click on open. Okay, once you open, it asks you for the username. Okay, so the username you need to enter, and the password also you need to enter. So once you enter the so someone showing any diagram, because I don't have Windows right now for you to demonstrate. Just once you click on open, it will ask for the username, and whatever the username you have used while creating the, okay, something like this. It is like, it will just ask you the username, using username. Okay, so using username, or it will ask you enter username, and you enter a username. What is the username? We got it. I have given Raghu, right? So just some username of your choice. Go ahead and do that. Okay, and after that, enter the password, whatever the password you have used to create your machine. Okay, so mine is a macOS, by the way. I will be using a command line utility because I have had to use this in macOS. Okay, an inbuilt terminal will be there, so you can use that particular inbuilt terminal to connect. Now here I'm going to use SSH, okay, as a command line, and I'm going to use a username. So what is the username I used? Who at the rate this particular system, and it will be asking me the password. Okay, and what is the password? DevOps 1 2 3 4 5 6 I have used, and I'll be logging into the system. Okay, so this is how I can create my own machine and log into the machine so that we can start learning the Linux over here. Right? Does it make sense? Any questions on this?
Yes, Raghu. Instead of downloading this putty here, we can also use the CMD in the Windows. Can we?
I am not a Windows guy. If your CMD supports SSH, please feel free to use.
Okay. And also, just one question here. So, what will be the requirement of like the device which we are using? Any basic device also is okay. Like
Which
basic configuration.
desktop?
Yeah, basically desktop or laptop.
Desktop, no, any basic one is fine. No specific for the training. We run everything in cloud only.
Okay. And what will be the total overall cost of this server side in the Azure portal we will be getting for the 3.5 months for completing training?
No, you should be creating your own account.
Yeah. That's what I'm asking. Ki if we create our own account, what will be the for 3.5 months? What will be the overall cost for the using the Azure services?
Oh,
So,
cost. So the cost is depends by the way. So like let's say I was mentioning yesterday, right? So if you are using for 3 to 4 hours of practice, you would be paying around easily some 3,000 amount. And if you go beyond that usage, it will be more. The more you use, the more you get the bill. So on an average for 3 to 4 hours of time, you will get some 2,500 to 3,000 you should be getting
Per day.
per month.
Okay, per month.
Yeah.
No, I just seen in the demonstration like it was of 7,000 just what we have created the virtual machine here. So can you explain that part? So how it is, how it is calculated and how we'll be getting the bill and all?
It is per month calculation. You will not run continuously, right? You will practice for 3 hours. After that, you would delete the machine or stop the machine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, that makes sense.
Venkat,
Hi.
when you raise your hand, please hold. You know to raise hand, raise hand down on.
Yeah, actually, I was not able to. I mean, it was not showing me this speaker button, so that was I just communicated to the. I mean, I think admin team, so they asked me to raise the hand for this one.
Correct.
Yeah, thanks
Again,
for
when
having
you
me.
raise hand, just you wait for it. Wait for your turn. Okay. You know
Yeah,
to
yeah,
lower hand, raise hand, lower hand. So there's no
yeah, yeah.
point. Yeah. Go
Sure,
ahead.
sure, sure.
Like, what is your question?
No, there is no question. First of all, it is not showing me any a button to speak out. So from starting of the class today, so that's the reason.
Like, you don't have any question at this point.
Yeah, at this point, I'm clear with the things that you said.
When you have question only, you should be raising the hand and you will be communicating. Otherwise,
Yeah.
it will-
Sure.
Hi, Raghu.
Yeah.
Yeah, this first time we'll be creating free account, right? That won't be chargeable, right? So until we use a 720 hours in Azure.
The answer is yes.
Okay.
Yeah. But again, if you have seen the terms and conditions, so they are providing a very basic machines, but we are going with the standard machines. So it is chargeable again.
Okay, okay.
Bharat, you are on mute. You need to unmute and talk. Moving on. All right. So I'll show you this particular process once again, and I'm done with my, let's say I'm done with my work today. I don't need this machine. Let's say sometimes we need machines also. Let's say today I don't need this particular machine. I'm going to, okay, delete this particular machine. Okay. All right. So I'm just going to delete this. So it is saying that, you type delete to delete it. I'm typing to delete it. All right. So we'll take a minute again. Now I'll just show in the meantime. So create another virtual machine. So create a virtual machine. Okay. And then we'll go for, so this is succeeded, it is telling. So the virtual machine is gone. Now we'll go for create another virtual machine. So create a Azure virtual machine once again, and you'll be choosing your resource group, whatever you have created. Okay. And then a virtual machine name is, for example, test1 I'm giving. So nothing to change here at this point of time. So only the images, by the way. So go there and go for community images and search for DevOps-practice image. So you will get this, choose that. And the next is, okay. So you're getting 1 CPU, 4 GB of RAM. So let me see all the sizes. By the way, the bare minimum is 1 CPU, 4 GB of RAM. So you don't get anything more, anything less than that. All right. So I'll close this. Let's stick to what do we have there. Okay. And then I'll go for a password. The username password is your choice. I'm giving my username and the password. I'm giving DevOps 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Right? Maybe the license type you can choose as other. And you go for review and create.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, Ahmed.
Okay. So I kind of eat the I think that's for the image. So what's the name again? Is it Azure DevOps, something like that?
You search for DevOps-practice.
Oh, DevOps. I think Paris. Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. So this is the image which I am offering. So it has some customized tool to help you in, so dealing with the DevOps learning much faster. Okay, some tools installation and all. There are some automation available in that. Otherwise, there is no difference. Any OS is fine.
Okay. Okay. Sounds good. Thank you.
But just for some days for everyone, please stick to this image. Okay, so maybe after the training, you're free to use whatever the one. It's everything is same. It only comes with one customized tooling kit. That's it. All right, so the resource is ready. So they're telling here is an IP address. So now if you are Putty guy, so again the same thing. So open Putty, enter IP address, the username, whatever you have given at the time of creation of the your server, and the password, your password. All right. So now here I'm giving SSH, my username @ some IP address. Okay. Enter. And so here it is going to ask me the password. I'm in. So this is the systems prompt, by the way. So here is the Linux prompt, and we'll be learning the Linux prompt here. All right. So yeah, so that's where we're going to learn some Linux. And Linux is all about some commands. Okay, and Linux is all about some commands. Like basically, like Linux is generally, if you pick it up the Linux is more good with, or any of the Linux vendor, by the way. So they're more, it's more preferred with CLI. Okay, we manage with CLI. Okay, so command line operating system. So unlike your Windows, in Windows everything, maybe my Mac OS also, you have a graphical thing. But Linux servers are not, let me use a word, Linux servers. Maybe desktops are different again. So Linux servers, we always go with the command line operation, by the way. Why is command line is couple of reasons are there. If you are going with a graphical interface, okay, so then you need to install a lot of software to enable the graphical interface. In Linux also, you can enable the graphical interface, But the moment you enable the graphical interface, at least you should be installing different softwares. Like let's say here we call it as packages. Minimum 1,000 packages you will be easily installing on a machine. Okay, if I wanted to get a desktop edition or basically graphical edition. Now that 1,000 softwares, any software can having a buggy software and it may cause server compromised. Okay, so in servers it is very important to have a minimal software. The less amount of software is always the less amount of risk. It's a very simple production statement. Okay, lesser the software, lesser the risk. Okay, it's as simple as that. So that's where we are always going to go with very less software, and that's where and that is where we always prefer to go with the CLI, because the CLI runs with a very basic version, I mean basic software also. That means hardly in MBs, like the installed operating system that we install, it will not have even a 1 GB also. It will be done in less than that. Okay, so that's where, okay, with the bare minimum itself, and even if I talk about the bare minimum, the Linux can start running even from 10 MB. Okay, 10 MB, we're talking about 10 MB. So the Linux can boot up any machine, right? It starts from 10 MB. Okay, depends upon the hardware anyhow. So that much powerful it is. Okay, so that's where, okay, so we'll always go with the minimal software, and with CLI, we can always run with the minimal software, and plus our application software, whatever we are supposed to run, we will run that. Okay, at least for an operating system to run, we don't want a bulky one. And now the other problem with the bulky one is it requires a bulky resources. Okay, now if you enable a lot of softwares, graphical, and of course it starts, so we have given just 4 GB of RAM, and 4 GB itself is also too much for this guy actually. We can simply go with 1 GB of RAM for our applications to run. But anyhow, this guy is giving a bare minimum thing, so we just went with that. Okay, so, but however, we don't require that much also, by the way. So 1 GB, 2 GB should be fine for us to, okay, so start it. So that is where, okay, so the CLI is a preference for lesser software, and the other one is we are going to, optimize the resources with the lesser resources, by the way. Okay, and it ultimately increases the security aspect. So that's the idea. And that's where we are going to, okay, so use the command line interface most of the time to the servers. Now, when you go in the command line, so what you need to do is you execute the commands. In Windows also, you have commands, by the way. You open MS-DOS prompt, okay, so CMD prompt, and you can start dealing with the Windows over the command line. You can deal with that. Okay, but when you have Windows, just a graphical, you may be using graphical, but from the command line, you can manage. But also at this point of time, okay, you're still feeling that, so executing commands is a bit difficult. Graphical is so easy, by the way. But trust me, after some days of your experience with Linux, once you start using Linux and for few months and years you are using, trust me, you will feel that Windows is the most difficult operating system that you have been dealing with the graphical. Okay, whereas command line would have been, much more flexible. Okay, you will feel that one day you will feel it. Okay, so to that extent, okay, okay, you will understand. So how difficult this, how difficult this particular Windows select. Let me step back. I think I wanted to give another way of point. So basically, the graphical interfaces are lazy. You will not do the things very well as a professional, by the way. For a beginner, yes, it makes sense, but not for a professional. All right, so that's where we will be going with mostly with the command line, and we'll learn the commands. When you go with the command line, what we have to do is we have to learn the commands here. So if I wanted to do something, I had to execute a command. In Windows, you want to do some click, you could take your mouse and do a click. But here you execute a command to do the job. Okay. In Windows, you want to open a file, drag your mouse there all the way, double click, and it will open the file, right? But whereas in Linux, you're going to execute a command. So it's all about the commands. All right. So that's how we're going to execute some commands, and we're going to learn the Linux commands over here. All right. Does it Makes sense. I think no people has asked much questions. I'm early done with my topic for today. So today my goal was every one of you wanted to create a server and you should be able to log into the server so that from tomorrow we'll learn the Linux commands. But before to that, I just wanted to, let's say, if you are actually buying a Windows laptop, okay, what is the basic things that you see? Maybe you will check the processor, you'll check the RAM, you'll check the hard disk, right? So these base things you'll check it out. In Linux also you can do that, but again, like I mentioned, it's through commands. Don't bother about the commands what I'm executing. Just look at the output only for now. So cat/etc. Let's say no prop CPU info. Now it is telling me some information about my processor. It is Intel processor we are using, Intel Xeon processor. Okay, so with some 3 point and some make details by the way about the processor. So it is a single processor we're having. So this one processor. Okay, these are not physical machines. These are all virtual machines. Okay, what is a physical machine? Your laptop is actually installed some operating system. So that's a physical machine operating system. But on top of your laptop, you can create some virtual machines. Okay, so that you can run multiple things in the same box. Okay, so here also in the server hardware, we can directly go with the physical one, but physical anyhow in the cloud, I mean, we can't afford that much. So we had to go with a virtual machine. So this is a virtual machine we got with one CPU. That means, let's say you take i7 processor or i5 processor, it's a quad core. That means 4 cores it will have. Okay, it will be having a 4 core. And in that one, okay, so that single core has been cut into, okay, 1 core and given to this particular virtual machine. So that means to the virtual machine, you can give chunks also. Okay, so here I'm getting, I got one chunk from the Xeon processor, because if you take a Xeon processor, if you read about this processor, how many core you are going to have it, you'll be having many cores. Okay, so if you look into this, so it is a total 8 core by the way. It's a 8 core processor. Your I series is a 4 core processor only, quad core. But Xeon series is a server processors. Okay, it is coming with a 8 core, super fast. Okay, now this 8 core by the way, so Azure has given me 1 core to me. Okay, has given 1 core to my virtual machine. So that's how I have one CPU here. Memory pre-m something I'm giving. So it's close to 4 GB you're getting. Okay, so memory and disk by the way, disk -l. I'm not sure you have permission. So lsblk. Okay, you can search for ls type something lsblk. You see the output only. Don't bother about the commands. Now there is a disk, and the disk is having some partitions. Now the disk size is 30 GB, and usually servers will have terabytes of disks by the way, and we got only 30 GB chunk. Virtual machines can always give some piece. It's like a big cake. Okay, you can cut into pieces whatever the sizes you want. Okay, cake is a physical piece, and virtual machine is a piece of cake, and you cut the pieces as per your choice. Okay, so that is how it is, and we got 2 disks here, so SDA and SDB. I need to see why. This is an extra disk. Don't bother about this. Comes in Azure, right? So this is SDA. This is our major disk. We'll talk about this later. So this is okay, the major disk. Okay, it has some 4 partitions at all. This also we'll see a bit later. Okay, in the disk explanation, I'll give you in the Linux basics. Now you just got understanding, and also you have cat/etc red hat -release. It will tell you. It's actually going to give. So if you type it, you are going to get like, this is a Red Hat Linux 9.4 version. All right. So that's how you can find out the OS also, like what is the OS version and all. But don't bother about the commands. These commands anyhow, when we start with the Linux learning from tomorrow, you're going to learn those particular things. All right. So that's all it is. And I'm done. Now, another important thing before I take any questions is, I want to terminate my machines. I wanted to terminate my machines, and in order to terminate my machines, give me 1 second. Yeah, sorry. So just before, I mean, we're done with the job, by the way. So I would like to go with, deleting the things, and I'll just go and try to delete this particular virtual machine, right? So delete it. Actually, while deleting it, was showing, I wanted to show this. Okay, it was showing some option to delete all the public IPs and all. So we would have chosen that. So now if I go back to here and if I just choose the public IPs, public IP addresses, if I go for public IP addresses, now these are chargeable, by the way. So the test IP which I have created, okay, it is still there, by the way, right? So now this is chargeable. Now the best way, at least for a beginner, I mean, for some days, what do you do is, my suggestion is, go and remove the complete resource group, by the way. You created one resource group, so then you created this one. I mean, the easiest way for you to do that is you just go inside the resource group and delete the resource group. It's just going to delete everything. It's a happy path. So when you actually wanted to go for again a resource creation, create a new resource group. Does not matter to us. As long as subscription is same, resource groups is fine. Okay. So it will go ahead and clean up everything, whatever you have it, by the way. At least for the first week, you do this. When you're done with the job, okay, we don't need the servers to be saved and used for tomorrow. So you just go ahead and so delete the machines and or delete the whole resource group, by the way. It will just take care of deleting all the resources inside that. But maybe from the second week when we start with the project, we need to have a requirement of stopping the instances. So that time we will just try to carefully do that. All right. So that's all from my side for today. Any questions? And you can go ahead, like if any extra questions also you are having, so please go ahead. We'll take it.
Yeah, Raghu.
Yeah.
So when you're choosing the image, so I'm on my Azure portal right now. So I didn't see RHEL9 DevOps practice. I can find it over there in the image marketplace.
Yeah. So two things to you, by the way. So first thing, while I do the things, don't actually do the things in parallel in your session. Please focus on
Yeah.
the session only because you'll miss the details. And for actual answer for your question, are you sure that your resource group is created under East US?
Yeah. Yeah.
Is it
Created
created under
on.
East?
Yeah, it's created on US.
Okay.
Yeah.
If it is created under East US, while you are creating a virtual machine, so you will get an option, like you can search for that. So create a,
Okay.
so I mean, you can search for the image, by the way. So see all, no, not this, see all images. You have to click on see all images and then you go for community image and then you search for DevOps
Community.
practice.
Community image. Where's my image? So over here, what I'm seeing is my marketplace, my management categories.
Marketplace won't come because on the community images, this is the one.
Okay, okay, I will try that.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah.
The thing is like this Microsoft Azure, this account, how it will be in the real time, Raghu? So will it be already inbuilt?
Inbuilt in the sense, like, I mean, in a company,
In the sense already yeah.
Companies will have accounts, right? What's up?
It's one already infrastructure has been built like the way the OS and servers.
I did not got your question actually.
No, how it will be in the real time, this infrastructure, Microsoft Azure, will it be already inbuilt or how we can go through?
What is inbuilt? That's a word is confusing. What do you mean by inbuilt? Company will, let's say I'm a company, okay? And I hold some business, by the way. So there's an Azure account created and you will be logging into that particular account.
Okay.
The account. And still, if we open Azure, by the way, it is same page only. Nothing changes. Doesn't matter it is a company or something. The portal is still same only.
Okay. The all these options will be the same.
Exactly
So,
same. Like we are not using any lab.azure.com, right? It's direct website only. Portal.azure.com. Company also it is the same thing. Here you logged into your account, by the way. There you log into your company account. Yeah.
okay.
Also, there is a concept called as landing zone, okay, which is an upcoming topic in some day. So we'll talk about how do you structure Azure according to your company needs. There's a landing zone concept.
Okay.
So we'll talk about
Okay.
it.
Okay. Thank you, Raghu.
Yeah.
Hey, hi, Raghu. Good morning.
Yeah.
Raghu, my question is just to, just to get clarified on my basics thing. So, as I'm working on AWS, so the concept of this resource group and this creating a machine, a Linux machine, virtual machine. So we are called the same EC2 instance and availability zone, what we call in AWS, the one you
AWS
create.
has resource group concept. Okay. So here you have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hello.
Yes.
Yeah. Is it the same thing?
AWS don't have a resource group concept. Okay.
Yes. 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 So
Right.
is okay. Okay. Okay.
Here
So
you
it's
have
not related to that availability zone.
no. Here also you have zones. That's not the zone.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Got it. Got it. Thank you.
So there you are going to deal with a multi-account, anyhow landing zone concept again. So here it is a multi-subscription.
Okay. Okay. Got it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Not able to
Hi,
hear.
Raghu.
Yeah.
Hi, Raghu. Manjunath here.
Yeah.
Do we have a lab if you want to practice something?
I mean, you have to create your own Azure account and you'll be practicing in your own account only.
Okay. Yeah, I got it. Now actually, I don't have that 1 month option because
That 1 month we don't fall under 1
actually I
month.
created and
Keep
did
falling
it.
again and again. We don't come under that 1 month at all. They are not giving anything for free. Okay. So you forget about that.
Okay. Sorry, there was some network disturbance, so I couldn't get your point. So if I can I use now again, like for using this lab?
What do you want to use? Sorry.
If I want to practice,
You create your own Azure account and you practice in your own account.
okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to create the Azure account and I have 3 options here. It says one is free, the free trial. the manage Microsoft Extra ID, and then the access student benefits. Which of them am I supposed to go through?
Yeah, there is a video given, so please take a look onto the video. Okay, so just watch the video once and then you go for a sign up.
Okay.
Yeah. I am pinging the URL on the chat once again. So there is a video. Please go through that and that's what you need to do, as simple as that.
All right. Thank you.
Okay. I don't see any other hands, any other questions? Cool. If there is no questions, we're good then. We'll meet in tomorrow. We'll start with the Linux basics. And for the next 4 days of this particular week is going to be learning the Linux commands for different requirement. Okay. All right. See you in tomorrow. You raise the hand, please talk. Rajashekar. Okay. All right. So thanks everyone. See you in tomorrow's session then. Bye. Good day. Good night.